These American bases form a giant noose, encircling China with missiles, bombers, warships, all the way from Australia through the Pacific to Asia and beyond.
I mean, if you were in Beijing looking out, you stood on the tallest building in Beijing and looked out at the Pacific Ocean, you'd see American warships. You'd see Guam is about to sink because there's so many missiles pointed at China. You'd look up at Korea and see American armaments pointing at China. You'd see Japan, which is basically, Japan's a glove over the American fist. I think if I was Chinese, I'd have a little to worry about American aggressiveness.
And we have China surrounded, and we're doing more all the time to try and keep it surrounded and deepen that containment of China. But China presents a fascinating case of a country that is independent, doesn't have foreign bases on its territory, growing very rapidly, not as rapidly now as it did for 30 years, but still the second-ranking economy in the world.
We have an adversary. And that adversary is China. And that adversary, unless there is dramatic reform inside China, will be our enemy someday.
In one sense, is the US already at war with China?
Yes, on the ground and in the air. The winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, President Barack Obama, has committed to trillions of dollars to our nuclear arsenal. He's committing trillions of future dollars to war in space. And we need an enemy for all this money, and China's the perfect enemy.
Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. We made clear, and I made clear in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed.
It's also laughable, right? As we've had a number of military experts on our show pointing out that we can't even deal right now with Russia. We don't have the military capability to deal with Russia right now. We want to send Abrams tanks. Sorry, we don't have them. It's going to take us months. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll send them to Ukraine. We do not have the capability. We have a military with recruitment levels down to their lowest levels in decades. In what readiness scenario does he think we are ready to attack China? As Colonel Douglas Macgregor said on our show, China will absorb everything we throw at it. We would have to sail around the world to try to attack China on a fool's errand. It's absolutely ridiculous. Really odd. I mean, it's just crazy that he would say that and he would get this like standing ovation there, that we are now at our best military presence and ability to handle China. And that's what they're trying to do. So, you know, you have President Biden, you have the Biden administration over the past few hours issuing red alerts about China, warning that now they're witnessing Chinese aircraft over 5 different allied countries right now, surveilling 5 different allied countries, launching warships over the past few hours in provocation in the South China Sea. And of course, all of this tied to the stupid weather balloon story, which is laughable. And it was really odd last night that Biden ignored anything else foreign policy-wise, didn't talk about, almost no mention of Russia, no mention of Ukraine. All foreign policy, didn't talk about Yemen, didn't talk about Syria, didn't talk about Somalia, where we are, Iraq, where we are actively fighting wars, where we actively have troops in these war zones. He says, God bless the troops, but makes no mention of these wars that we are currently involved in. Biden went on to say that, quote, make no mistake, as we made clear last week, referring to the stupid weather balloon, if China threatens our sovereignty, he says, we will act to protect our country. And we did. He said of the balloon incident. And he said, let's be clear, winning the competition with China should unite us all. So, okay, the balloon incident, is attacking our sovereignty. And let's just be clear, we have literally encircled China and adding a new round of military bases, announcing the start of 4 new military bases in the Philippines.
Yes.
And a new one that just opened in Guam. Imagine for a second if China did that to us in Puerto Rico or just on our doorstep, just opened up multiple bases all surrounding us, launching military stealth drills. This is what they did, the U.S. military did over the past few days with the South Koreans, launching stealth bombers and F-18 Hornets right on our doorstep. What would we do?
We would escalate.